this morning to have a chat with Mark Baigent from Kalparrin about all the things his organisation is doing to get ready for the NDIS.
Hi Mark, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and have a chat with ECIA Victoria today. I really appreciate it. Firstly, I wanted to start talking about what you're doing from a senior management level about preparing for the NDIS.
This is a really crucial area of development for an organisation of our size. We're a medium-sized organisation serving about 150 families currently in the Banyule-Nillumbik and Whittlesea Shire space. And so for an organisation like ours with 30 employed staff and a fairly wide service base of some 357,000 people, strategically we've got to have a very good idea of where we're heading. So as an organisation, one of the first things we've had to do is map out what our vision is for the next couple of years in line with what the NDIS is informing us is going to occur. And that's a difficult process for a lot of organisations and was for us as well because the detail was lacking. But the communication lines are important to keep open, maintaining contact with ECIA Victoria and resource specialists such as yourself and government representatives and representatives from the scheme itself have given us clarity on where the scheme is heading. And with that clarity, we've been able to map out a future direction in our strategic plan across a wide range of areas, including marketing, including funding, including staffing, including operational logistics and strategic processes, and also community liaison and engagement with our service-based audience, which is essentially the families we care for.
Yeah.
So we've now mapped that strategy out and developed a new strategic plan which we call Revive and Thrive, and that's focused on adopting and providing for all of the NDIS measures that we understand to the level of understanding that we have about them.
I wanted to see if you could talk about customer relationship management, or CRM as it's more commonly known. Obviously it's going to be quite crucial for service providers about how they manage their client case files, record client notes, take bookings, emails, etc. Has Kalparrin changed their CRM to have something more dynamic, or was that something already in place?
It's a process that's ongoing for any organisation, be they small, medium or large, at an operational level and a senior management level and a board level. Awareness about what's involved in changing CRM is fairly significant. When you address true CRM change, you're taking on complete organisational change. And so what we've had to do in terms of mapping our CRM was work out, firstly, how do we operate now? What systems do we have in place that fall within CRM definitions? E.g., what are the databases that we collect our information on? How do we handle our enrolment forms? How do we do a referral for a physiotherapist? How do we do an invoice and a payment against a parent or against HACWA or Better Start? And then we have to determine, well, how do all those things interface? What is the workflow between them? And then how can that work more efficiently? And once we've mapped that out and consulted, we can start devising a process that starts to create for us a system that's a lot more efficient. A good example at this stage would be something like handling the welcoming of a family for an occupational therapy appointment. The family comes in, they meet the receptionist books them in and confirms that they're here, checks that their data is accurate and up to date, advises the occupational therapist that the family's here. The family goes in, the child receives the occupational therapy session, they come out again. If they're HACWA Better Start funded, for example, the invoice is then raised, authorised by the parent, signed off, and then we process that back to HACWA Better Start and then get a payment. That's somewhat similar to how the NDIS is actually going to operate, but how can that process be made more efficient? Through a good CRM system, that process can be made dramatically more efficient, because when the parent or the family comes with the child to the front desk and greets the receptionist or whoever is welcoming them to the service, they can process all of the things I just mentioned in one stroke of a keyboard or mouse click through a good CRM process, which automatically informs the occupational therapist that the family's here, locks in that appointment in their calendar, raises the invoice based on the 1 hour or 45 minutes of service they were going to get, and probably at the same time sends out a thank you letter thanking them for the service and asking if there was anything that we could improve upon.
Yeah.
So the strength in CRM is enormous. And we've gone through a staff consultation process, we've gone through a board consultation process, we've gone through an operational analysis process, we've been through a low-level review, we're now going through a high-level review. Now we're about to produce a high-level report which will then come to the board, and then that report will inform the strategy and changes we will have to undertake over the next 6 to 12 months. And we envisage that will include a complete makeover of all of our software, adaptation and adoption of brand new CRM software, which is essentially a significant database capable of reporting to a whole range of other database functions, including billing and communications and appointment making and calendars. And we're also looking at a complete hardware change to accommodate all of that. And then, of course, with that comes all the education necessary for all the users of the system to understand how to use it as efficiently as possible. So the CRM component of the readiness process for the NDIS is probably the largest of all the processes that we'll be embracing, and also the longest. We're envisaging this will take a good 6 to 12 months in the least amount of time to actually get to an operational stage. And then when the system is actually underway and being used after the NDIS comes in, it'll probably be another 12 to 18 months before we've refined it and got it working the way we want it.
Wow. I mean, I went to a conference recently and there was a quote by one of the speakers there that said, the change within your organisation has to reflect the change that's happening outside at the moment with the NDIS coming into place. And what you've just described then is exactly taking that on board and really mirroring that change, because as you said, a CRM that works well is really going to put you forward and ready for the NDIS. And a huge challenge with the NDIS has been around administrative burden, and CRM can really help reduce some